everybody, I'm Tom Vessel.
I'm Z Garcia.
And today we're taking a look at a game called Storyfold Wildwoods. This is a solo game, which there's a dark forest. There's a lot of dark forests.
There's so many dark forests out there. Yeah, you are a young sort of lady / spirit of the forest named Luma, and you are with your bear companion trying to heal the forest. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so It's called Storyfold because you're going to open a book and go inside. Z is going to show you.
In the game, you're going to be going through a story, and the story is broken up into a prologue and then various chapters, which are decks of cards you will be using to set up various parts of the game here. The idea is every one of these pages that you can flip over is going to have a mini chapter, if you would, something you are attempting to achieve, and then once you do so, you will travel to the next page by clearing this page here and flipping it over. At that point, you can save the game, and you can do that by using this right here, putting everything away in a very specific way, closing this up, folding the book over, and that is ready to go for the next session. And so, again, you can go as far as you want to, put it away and start again. The general flow of the game is, and the idea of the game is, you are following the story here of Luma and Brahm, a small girl who seems to be sort of a spirit of the forest, and her bear companion, as they are trying to cleanse the woods and the forest of this sort of evil infestation, if you would. The general flow of the game goes like this. There's going to be two phases, the Luma phase and then the Shadow phase. And you continue going back and forth between those two until you reach the end, which happens if Luma prevails or if the Shadow prevails. Here it tells you the scene setup, so you will do that. That's the first thing you do when you are setting up a new scenario here, or after you saved and you're setting it up again. I'm not going to worry about doing anything correctly about that. Don't worry about it. The general flow is there's these four cards down here: Help, Heal, Light, and Explore. And during the Luma phase, you have all your dice here, and you are going to be choosing one of these cards to activate, committing any number of these dice you want to, rolling, seeing how many successes you get based on the difficulty of where the card is, and then adjusting this river of cards. Now, sometimes you will have creatures that are in the river as well, and they will move around the river. So, for example, this creature might end up in that spot. You obviously can't select this as an action. There is no action there. And this one, the Explorer, is outside the range right now, so you couldn't do that one either. So let's say I do Help, for example. I will pull the card down. I select how many dice I want to roll. I roll those dice, and I have two successes here. The 5 and the 3 both match this, so that's two successes. Every card is going to allow you to do something, and sometimes they have a little, or always they have a little bonus underneath. So this one is gain successes to resolve one help location. Well, these are the locations out here, and the help locations match the symbols around the help word there. If you manage to do that, this one needs one success, this one needs two, then you are going to mark that location like this, and take the activation that it says. Sometimes you get to explore, sometimes you get to add boons, you get to do various things in the game. And then once I am done with that, then I move this to the back of the river and everything moves up. And these dice are spent, so they go over here to the used dice area. The heal ability lets me heal a creature. And so if I do that, and again, I'll say I'll roll 2. This one's a miss, but this one's a hit. Below the creatures here, it tells me how much I need to heal them and how much I need to light them. Lighting them, which will come up in a second here, is simply turning it off so it doesn't hurt me for one round. Healing them is actually removing them from here and giving me a boost. So if I heal it, I would put it away. I'm going to get this boost as it lists, and I can add this to one of these cards, letting me later on take a free success. So now that I've done that, I catch this up like so. I have a single die left. Let's say I want to do the light ability here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and roll a single die. That's a miss, but I can choose to say these two are successes, and now I have 2 successes in total, and The top says I can light one creature. There's no creatures, but the bottom says for each success, I can advance the light marker 1 space. Well, I can do that here, 1, 2, because I want to get this marker here to the center, so I can do this location, which requires it. This is Explore, which matches this card, and to win the scenario, generally, you have to do the Explore locations following the arrow. That white light or line from there to there. And so that's the idea. This is done. It goes to the back. And now that I am out of dice, we go to the shadow phase. During the shadow phase, all of the creatures that are in the line would activate. So let's say this was still here. If I had put a token on it earlier because I did the light ability, then this simply comes off. If not, then it's going to hurt me by losing me spirit, moving this down. And if this happens too much, it loops back around, and then I have to draw a shadow card, which is bad, okay? And then it tells me that after activation, it moves 1 space towards the front of the river, so it would do this. It kind of keeps making its way to the front of the river, bothering me and making my checks more and more difficult. So that's the general flow of the game. That is what you are doing. You are activating these various things, healing the creatures, or gaining more spirit, lighting the creatures or advancing the light marker, resolving a help location, or gaining these tokens to boost my cards. And then this one is exploring an explore location or drawing explore cards and keeping one as a boon. This is a boon right here. I have space for them, and they let me do something 1 time. Basically, this one says retrieve 2 dice and then discard this card. So I could take 2 of these back and have a longer turn. That's the idea. I also have my own special ability right here for Luma, Brahm, who is my bear, who is protecting me, and a few other things. But that's the general idea. Now, once I do this again, I would clear this, and I would flip this page, and I go on to a new part of the story. And if I want to save at that point, then I can put everything away in a specific order and come back whenever I want to. So there you go. That should give you enough of an idea of how the game operates, the basic dice system, and some of the things going on in it. Let's go ahead and go back up top.
Now, this company here has done a tremendous job with components in the past. I expect nothing less here. And I really like how this one feels. Again, I've kind of played video games that have this feel, and it almost,
oh, absolutely,
it almost has a video game feel to it.
Yes, I was constantly reminded of like Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the sort of very ethereal, very again wispy, genteel setting. It screams that kind of video game, absolutely.
When you play it, you know the music you're hearing.
Yeah.
You know, in the background. And I thought it was a pretty decent story. It walks you through a story. The bear is a nice companion and is intrigued to the story in ways as you find out as it goes on. So that's and I think it's also not terribly difficult to save.
Right. They did a good job with that tray where you put everything away and you can come back. I think that's really well done.
So let's talk about how it plays. It has one of my favorite mechanisms in the world, which is in very few games. Ark Nova Civilization, where the card comes underneath and you use a card and then it slides to the end.
Right.
But here they muck with that by putting bad guy cards get in there.
Yeah.
And in some scenarios, they're really in there. They're like just coming in swarms. And I like that a lot, but I do think it is going to be the focal point as to some people liking the game or not.
Sure, because there's not a lot of mechanisms in this game. I mean, ultimately, there's not that many like places of interaction for the players. There's a lot of things going on. You have special abilities, boons, and you have a special ability on your card, the bear, Brahm. There's a few different things you can do, but you're right. If you don't like that dice system, which you saw in the overview, you should know, at least somewhat, if that mechanism you're thinking to yourself, that looks a little simplistic, I don't think I'll enjoy doing that over and over, you might not like this game. That's kind of it. That's the meat and potatoes. Right.
Well, I think most people will like the card system. I think that where people will... There's 2 things I think people will struggle with, some people, and that's the dice rolling.
Right.
Because you'd be like, ooh, I really need to pass this test. I better roll 5 dice. hey, look, they're all 1s and 2s.
Yeah, that could happen.
And also, it has a bit of a fail forward in the early chapters. You messed up. That's all right. Keep going. That's great. But if you keep doing that, you're not going to do well at the end.
Right.
To the point where I'm almost like, I might as well just restart.
Right.
Because if you end a chapter, they'll give you a good card. If you don't do it so well, they throw a bad card in the mix, and that can be a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned there's not a lot of choices. I really do like, though, the decision-making aspect of, do I want a card? I could use this to get a card right now. Do I want to heal? I could use this. Do I want to fight something?
Right.
Fighting is, they really made fighting kind of this nice, soft...
Absolutely. You can light the animal, which just means like lock it down for a round. You can distract them with light. I'm not sure what's happening. And then you can, what do they even call it? You sort of
You're like healing them.
You heal him, or them, and they kind of go away. That's you attacking the thing. But the idea is these animals, these are good spirits of the forest that are imbued with an evil essence, and you're getting rid of that thing, not the animal itself.
Yeah, and when there's spiders, I'm attacking them and killing them.
Of course. No, I think mechanically what's happening is interesting. It's just slight. There's not that many things. There are 4 actions, each one with a secondary thing it can do, and that's kind of it. That's generally what's happening. Now, I like those things. I like what they do. I like the way they interact with the map up above. I like the way that one of them can like lock down the creatures or advance you on the light track. They have those 2 sort of dual purposes. And I think they all interact really, really well. This game feels like there were a lot of iterations until they finally got to this. And this is very smooth. They sanded that down until they got to the essence of what they needed and nothing else.
And so that means that this is going to be fairly samey as you go through the game. There's differences. Mm-hmm. The enemies are different. Some enemies are very persistent. Some enemies that I thought that's going to be hard were easy to deal with, and the opposite. I'm like, I don't care about that. Oh wait, I got all these enemies clogged up in this area now.
Right.
And but I still find it to be kind of a fascinating ability. And then you get these special ability cards to play, and they feel cool.
Yeah. I think the whole thing, I really am enamored with this game. I think it does so much with not a lot. But yet there is a lot of story here, and the writing is very good. The game is able to, with its writing, with its storytelling, really do a fantastic job of again, emulating those stories that get you in the feels, where you're like, oh, you start worrying about this little girl in the forest, who, again, is a spirit, basically, and this old bear companion of hers, and very quickly you get invested. I did, and I think that's the good writing and the story that they are presenting. It feels very personal, very small, but you start caring about those things very quickly. And then the gameplay on top of that, man, there's very few hurdles here. They do not get in their own way. And I often find games that are solitaire, especially campaign games, sometimes stumble because they're trying to do too much or they end up getting in their own way. There's the one solo game out there that is also dice driven with the little Viking girl. You probably know what I'm talking about. And you're going through a story with her. You have these dice you roll, and the dice have like half successes. And you have to put 2 dice together.
Oh, right.
She's a little redhead who's a Viking.
Yes.
Right?
But that one...
there's a lot going on. There's a little too much going on sometimes. And you're like, okay, this dice system's a little iffy.
Well, comparing to that game, where that game also felt wildly like you could just go down a direction that you'll never see in any other one. Realizing this, there are path choices. Like it'll say, if you succeed, go to this page. I'm like, ooh, I skipped that page. Well, what happened? But it's not that much, and so I think there's a small ding against this. There's not really a ton of replayability.
I agree with that. There's a good amount of play in it, though. I think there's
I would say, 6 hours?
Maybe, yeah. That's pretty good, I think, for kind of, again, the comparison to a video game is apt here. It kind of feels like an indie video game.
Yeah, and on that note, well, I'm saying there's not a ton of replayability. I played it for 6 hours. I bet I could come back 4 or 5 months from now, a year from now, and be like, I don't remember much about how the story worked out, and play through it again, like a video game. That's how video games work. Although you will get to certain points, and you'll be like, I remember this. I like it. I think it's a cool game. It is a big game for a solo game, and there's a lot going on in it, but it's gorgeous and beautiful, and I think it's worth your time. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. It's a solid game that I found to be something different and very charming.
I agree with everything you're saying. I really like it, though. I like it more than that. I'm giving it a 9. I think it is incredibly captivating. Lovely production, except for a couple of things. I don't love the black printing that has that matte finish, catches every single fingerprint, starts to look smudgy and kind of,
you're right.
I really don't like that.
I wish they hadn't done that because you probably saw my fingerprints on the game.
And then, you add your own. Yeah, it just sort of, it's very easy for that type of printing. It's like slightly matte and sort of a little gummy and rubbery. It catches fingerprints and oil and anything very, easily. So I don't love that quality of paper. But everything else, I really do enjoy. I think this game it's lovely to be able to crack open this thing, pull out a tray, a deck of cards, and you are playing again. It's like a save state in a video game. They really did that well. And I love that every time you flip a new page, it's kind of a little new puzzle, It really, I thought, was incredibly well put together. What is the name of the company? Open Owl? Something Owl?
Yeah, I think so.
Open Owl. Open Owl Studios. I thought their last game was okay. It kind of was a, Stardew Valley sort of game. And I thought it was all right. If a little overwrought and kind of went nowhere. You just sort of kept spinning your wheels. This is almost a 180 for me. They're doing a lot with very little, and it is fully captivating. So for me, 9 out of 10. Really, really like it.
Well, there you go, folks. That is Storyfold Wildwoods. I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Z Garcia.
I want to say thank you to some of our GameFound backers. Thank you to Angela Fortunato. Thank you to the Reyes family, the Zabata family, and Bart Vanderwow. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.